There we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the Off Rift podcast. I'm Mercury, once again joined by Vestion, and we got a very special guest today, Beau, the owner and co-founder of Ground Zero, the newest team in the LCP. We got a lot to cover this week. It was a pretty crazy week of games, but I guess before we get started, Perth's the best place in the world apparently because we just rocked the Sixers. 6 titles, is it?
Thanks for having me, guys. This is cool. It's good. Jhye, my business partner, just come and took 3 wickets and dominated the Big Bash, and now we can hopefully dominate on the Rift this weekend. So
Yeah.
No, you will. It's so good. I have to be a bit more reserved this episode because my boss is now here. So I got to be a little bit more worried.
I told you this before. You pay me to be part of Ground Zero, mate. All right.
Yeah. Well, it's an unfortunate reality.
That's what Kevin told me to say that as well, by the way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that guy works for a bank, man. He can't be trusted. You can't trust people that work for a bank. That's one thing I know. That's about the only life lesson I've learned.
Yeah.
Them or car salespeople.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah. But it was a pretty crazy week of games, all things together. We'll get into a bit of a recap before we touch on a few other topics. And as always, if you have any questions, and if we have time, you can join the Discord and submit them in the answering machine. But I guess to get into things, we can go back from the end to the start. Artemis making history, 3 pentas in a single series. That was crazy. I mean, granted, it was against Dead FM, but even still, kind of crazy. Especially it was like less than 24 hours after Ice did it in the LEC. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah, I think that's the craziest thing is like how often do you see 2 pentas in a game? Like just in League of Legends in general, barely ever. I mean, I've played this game since season 2 and done it one single time. You know, like it doesn't happen that often. And the fact he got those 2 pentas the day after Ice and the LEC did it, and then got a penta in the next game on Jhin of all champions. Terrible champion. Please stop picking Jhin. It's just like it is crazy to say, but realistically though, like when you sort of chalk it out to, or like think about how the game's played out, right? They are against who I think most people have as the weakest team in the league, as well as Artemis and Garm and Vietnamese teams quite often do play quite heavily around their AD carry. I think Team Secret Wales tend to be like the only team that doesn't necessarily stick to that game plan. And so it does make sense that Artemis is thriving. He has what I would say is probably the weakest lane from DFM against him. So he's, getting his gold and was able to capitalize. But I mean, that doesn't take away from the achievement. It still was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We had, they showed promise, Dead FM. They showed a little bit of promise in that early game. But yeah, Gam looked a little bit shaky, and we'll get into maybe why that will be a good thing coming into this week. We're putting on our oceanic bias this week. But going further back into things, we got CFO going up against MVK, with CFO actually managing to come out on top against an MVK that I think is definitely overperforming this week, right? They took down Garm in pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah. I mean, it's really confusing me now because like pretty much everyone except for DFM is like beating each other and losing to each other, right? Like it's not like last year where Talon and CFO and Split One were just beating everyone, and then like there was a competition between the two of them. It really is so close. Where I mean, we use Ground Zero as an example, right? As they beat DCG, they lost to Team Secret Wales, beat DCG, and then DCG went and beat Team Secret Wales. So it's like, okay, you still can't really tell where these teams all are in relation to each other. The other 3 teams at the top of the scoreboard as well. Like, obviously, there hasn't been sort of that cross of the group, if you will. So they've all been beating each other and losing to each other much the same as everyone else. So it's really difficult to actually grasp where each team is. And I think, like, for you, Beau, does that, like, give you confidence? Because obviously you're, like, the newest team coming in. You haven't really been together for that long. But the league is just so uncertain that surely it gives you some, maybe more hope than even coming into the league you had.
Yeah, I think the guys were probably a little bit too overconfident on the weekend, to be honest. But that's okay. That they tails are up from a good win with DCG. But seeing the results, it's a coin flip, isn't it? Really, like there's gonna be like the top 6 is or 7 even. Like I think it's anyone's game. Even SHD the 2 weeks previous, they didn't look bad. They would like DCG beat them in 2 late 30-minute games or something like that. Like it went deep. So yeah, I think the boys now they're moving into the house full time as of tomorrow. We can get some reps in where we're not just having our scrim sets. We actually can really start grinding the game outside of our our scrim schedules and start fixing those little teamwork issues that come with just time. As simple as that. So if we can get that down pat, we can hopefully really close the gap with some of these close losses or close wins. We can actually get some 2-0s or something like that. So this old man doesn't need to go to hospital with a heart attack. So
I think
I want to. Oh, sorry. Can I
you
quickly
go. No, you
ask?
go.
I want to say, like, obviously, we touched briefly on Jhye's success with the cricket
yeah,
and him being a co-owner of Ground Zero. Does having someone that's like as an elite of an athlete like him help a lot when it comes to like sort of working in a team environment like League of Legends, right? Like different thing, but it's still working as a team, still
yeah.
different athletes. Like, does it help a lot? Is he able to contribute some of his like knowledge?
100%. So obviously he's got to work with language barriers as well in this instance. With all our
Sure.
teams, Jai takes a way more hands-on approach than I do with the players. I do more of the like ops side and everything else around that. That's his expertise at the end of the day. He's the one that does that for a living, sits in front of 100,000 people at the MCG and bowls cricket balls. So he knows about pressure more than anybody. So would be stupid not to lean on that experience. And the guys as well, we try and drum that in. When anyone comes on board early, we try and go, hey, you have this asset. If you want to talk to him, ask him a question, see how he deals with stress or getting over a loss or anything like that and how he bounces back, like use him. Like he's an untapped resource. So we want more players to really utilize his knowledge base because he is quite happy to share with these guys. Like he'll sit in a Discord server for hours and talk with them and talk through them because he is very hands-on with that. He's actually very good with all the players. Checked in on them all after their loss, just the basic 1%ers. He really wants to make sure that we're giving them the best chance to bounce back and win.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, I mean, overall, obviously, Hawks did take you guys down this week. Evie's playing out of his mind. We'll get to that later. But overall, I think you guys have played the most games out of everyone in the league. You've played all of your games have gone to the maximum. And your win-loss, despite obviously being 1-2, is on par with some of the best teams.
Yeah. So we've played 9 games now, so all best of threes. Obviously, we started on a heater against Team Secret Wales, and I thought, how easy is the LCP? We're just going to cruise, and then that changed very fast. And then DCG, that was the opposite. We got clapped in the first game by maybe a bit of comp, a bit of, I don't know, just maybe being a bit confident fellow Taiwanese team that we scrim a bit against. And then we, reset and gone from there. And then SHG, I think it was a scrappy game, to be honest, on both parties. It wasn't the cleanest League of Legends from either side. It ended up into a bit of a dogfight, and we were on the losing side, unfortunately. But that happens. Like we've got another 4 games to clinch playoffs, and if we do that, I think like we said at the start, is that open. You can go on a run, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there knocking on the door of maybe an international berth. Like it's that open. Who knows?
Yeah, bro. I gotta quickly trace back though. Scrappy was an understatement for that series. I think that might have possibly been one of the ugliest series of League of Legends I've ever seen. But like, it's early in the season, right? Like, honestly, that's not overly surprising that there's some like ugly League of Legends. SHG ultimately have made quite a few roster changes as well, and obviously you're a new team coming together, so it's like it's perfectly acceptable. The fact that it was so scrappy and it was so close is a pretty good sign. And I ultimately think that series, there were 2 real standout players. One was Marble for SHG and the other one was Yijang. So like there is definitely learnings we can take out of that series, things to improve on, but also there are highlights of it that like, okay, look, this is going really well. Yijang is doing really well in the top lane, whatever it may be, maybe the week before Jimmy in the mid lane, but I think it's something that Sky and the boys can work through to be like, okay, look, it was a rough series, it was pretty ugly, but there are some like silver linings to what occurred.
Yeah, it
and so
definitely wasn't
that's
all
positive.
doom and gloom. It definitely wasn't all doom and gloom. Like the boys, we took them out for a meal afterwards. Just try to lighten the mood. Just to prove that you don't just get fed when you win. Like we'll beat you lose as well. But it is what it is, like we're still learning. We were always coming in split one from a bit of a disadvantage. Like we, because of the circumstances, we really only had this roster together just before January 1st, which means the players were probably about a month to 6 weeks behind everybody else from, getting together, getting to Taiwan, starting scrims backs again, getting, grinding solo queue, all those little 1%ers. So I think we're going to be more of a late, a fast finishers, hopefully, as we improve. Because like you said, we've already seen glimpses of what we can do. If it all comes together, where all 5 click together and we get on the same page from a team cohesion, I think we can be very strong. And I think we can actually surprise some teams. I'm not saying we're going to win the whole thing straight away, but I think we can be super competitive and on our day can push anyone in the league. Seeing how the league's gone so far, like I think whoever rocks up on the day, like who picked Gam to lose against Vikings, and that's no shade at Vikings. Vikings played amazing, but everyone put Gam at the top of the tree. Vikings played better on the day; they get the win. Happy days.
Yeah, I mean, if Ground Zero just play like game one against Team Secret Wales every game, you're probably winning. So the peak is there. It's just like
100%. And we played very well in that game. Very well.
It was insane. It was like I was blown away by just how clean everything was. And so I mean, if we can play like that every day, then there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning. But
for storylines, it's also good at product that it's so open as well. No one wants another season. I mean, it was good for the LCP, as in a region, to say CFO did so well. But from a viewer, who wants to go in every week knowing that there's going to be 3 one-sided or 4 one-sided games? You don't want that. It's good for the league that it's competitive. So
that is true. Like last year when I was casting it, it would be like, okay, you'd look at the match schedule and it'd be something like CFO going up against DFM, SHG, whatever, and then Talon going up against Chiefs, and it's like, well, it's really hard. It's not that. It's like it's really hard to spin a good narrative, because all you can come in and say, well, this should probably just be a stomp, and like obviously you can't really do that, but like that's what mentally goes on, and as a viewer you see that lineup, it's like, okay, well, like we've got predetermined results essentially, which is we don't have that this year really. I mean, DFM, they do look the weakest, but there have been glimmers of hope for them too. I think this split is not for them, but again, in the future, who knows what could change.
Early game looked all right against Gam. They were matching them, they weren't that far behind. I think at one point in the mid-20s, they're only like a K goal behind. It wasn't a stomp.
A slam,
And then it blew out at the end, but it wasn't a stomp like the whole game, where it just snowballs out of control by 15 minutes. You're just waiting for the end. So,
yeah.
This is Ground Zero's 4th full year in league now, right? There was that brief stint in OCS, but 2023 doesn't count. We don't count that.
By the way, if you know the story behind that, we actually got Atletico's OCS spot by default because one of their owners got in trouble or something happened. I'm not going to disclose what happened, but they couldn't operate a license anymore. So they needed someone to operate it. So I put my hand up and said, how about it? And it was also probably the worst decision I've ever made in Ground Zero's history. Okay. Not that. I had the Chiefs winning OCS roster come to me that would have got me an OPL team. And me and the coach at the time, I won't name his names, didn't see eye to eye about how we should go with certain things. And I'll admit on out, he was right and I was wrong. Okay. And he put together a very good roster and they won. And they were the first OCS team to knock out an OPL team and get promoted. And that could have been GC's first entrance into League of Legends. So that was I don't make many mistakes, I'd like to say, but I made that mistake by not listening to him. But that's okay. But and then LCO arrived. We were still new. We kind of sometimes always start slow. I'll quote Ange Postacoglu. We always do better in the second year than we do in the first. And that's what we did. Obviously, split one or season 1 in LCO. not that great. And season 2, I think we lost 1 game in 2 splits or something like
Yeah,
that.
you guys won at DreamHack, and that was incredible to watch.
Yeah, probably one of the highlights of me personally, seeing our team live on stage in front of a crowd, winning a big tournament like the LCO. That was probably my own personal highlight of 7 years that I've been doing this.
Well, it's only going to get better this year. I can
Yeah.
sense it. You know?
Yeah, Ben had you guys going to two internationals this year. That was his prediction.
Yep. At least. I said at least 2.
Well, you
Yeah,
know
I
why
gave-
I'm thinking that? Because I'll let you a little insight on the stream here. He's actually listed. I put him down as one of the staff members for one of the events because we need someone to go over. Because I happen to be in Shanghai that weekend and I need someone to help. So I was like, Ben, do you want to attend San Paulo if we make it? And I reckon that form was filled out before the words even got out of our GM's mouth.
Yeah, I can't blame him.
Yeah, mate. I was quick on that one. Yep.
It was already done. I was like, oh, that was quick.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I wanted to quickly go back to like the mistake you made, right? That you were talking about. It's probably like honestly a good thing because I'm sure from that you've probably taken a lot of learnings. You know, like a reflection on what occurred, whether it would be how communication or whatever it was. But that's probably like because of that you've been able to end up where you are now. So it's like
yeah, and I think in everything in life you learn as you go, don't you? From your mistakes,
for sure.
And if you can kind of not be stubborn enough to realize, hey, and put your hand up and go, oh, I made a wrong decision or that, or my judgment call was incorrect, but learn so you don't make that judgment call incorrect in the next time, you're only going to get better. So I kind of look back, I reflect a lot on things we do. I always look back at the year around Christmas time, see what worked, what didn't work from a GC point of view, how we can adjust, because obviously in Australia we have that big break. So everyone kind of leaves me alone for a few weeks so I can catch up and reflect and see how we're going to attack the following year. But yeah, that was I think at the time they were going for about $500,000, so that was a $500,000 wrong decision. So yeah, hence why I say my biggest mistake.
Yeah, fair.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, you guys. How is the team coming together? Because you guys, obviously, most of it is that core of Frank Esports, and obviously even Yi Jung formerly was on that roster. Like you mentioned, you've had a little less time than usual to get things together. What's that been like?
If I could say stressful, that'd probably be an understatement. But no, it's been good. If we didn't have good people on the ground like Sky and that helping us so well, he's been amazing from the start. We were speaking to him before we got the approval, so I was pretty confident with how close I got last year to a spot that we would be at least a front runner, at least in the conversation of right to say, hey, we're capable of running this spot. So we started talking and he started building the roster externally before we actually had it. The problem is you can't sign anyone, you can't do anything else until it's obviously confirmed. But we had already been starting moving pieces probably around November, roughly. The hardest thing is we've been doing a lot of it remotely. So I've got a couple of managers on the ground now that's helped us set up a house, find a location. That was probably been the biggest challenge, just location, but that's okay. We're going to have some more people on there to help us improve what we do. I'll be going over there a few more times a year to make sure everything's like running well and looking after, because from Perth, I can get there by lunchtime. So I leave in the evening. I'm there by lunchtime the next day, which is fine. And make sure the players are, comfortable. But yeah, it's getting there slowly. But it's been difficult, mainly because of the timeline.
Yeah, a rush essentially, right? That was the biggest challenge.
But I think overall, with what you guys have seen so far, with our limited preparation, I think everyone in their org, like all my support staff, Jhye, Matt, everyone that helps us, should really hold their heads high. They've done an amazing job and everyone's been putting in the hours to make sure everything's done. And then the guys have been good. Like I said again, Sky's been amazing. He's been really great. He almost acts like a GM as well, like, because he can speak English as well, so he kind of can really help us middleman a lot of this. But then I've got a couple of guys. Arthur who's been helping us as our team manager for this split. He's got a massive background in content management and team management from that. He's way overqualified to be a team manager, but he's helping us out. So I've got some really good guys. That's really helping me. Otherwise, it would be more difficult with the timelines.
It's sick.
Coming into this year, like, what's your expectations or hopes for the team? Obviously international, but there's a chance if the PCS teams are pretty stacked, even if Dead FM doesn't do as well, there's a chance that the team has to defend themselves in the promotion series as well.
Well, we're not talking about relegation promotion series. That's not even that.
Yeah.
Not even a discussion. No, I get what you're saying. I think because, and we're at fault at that. We did blood 23 Taiwanese players last year, so we're helping the tier 2 scene get stronger.
That's right.
Or 26, sorry.
26, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not even in our talk. We expect to be playing playoffs. So I think how it works this year, I'm not sure if it's fully announced, but it's who's ever lower out of the Vietnamese and Taiwanese team will have to defend their slot.
Yeah, and it's based on championship points.
Correct. So it's either got to be, there's 6. Well, no, technically there's 4 of us because the 2
partner teams,
CFO and GAM. CFO and GAM.
Yeah, 4 of us. Sorry, CFO. So we've got to be better than 1 of 3 other teams to miss that, and we think we are already. Across the season. So our goal in split 1 was to make playoffs. All right. So internal goal, I want the players to think they can win, obviously. So I'm not communicating that with them, but internal goal, our goal was to make playoffs and be competitive for split 1, and then come back, have that little break in over the Lunar New Year, play playoffs, see how we go. Hopefully we do really well. If not, we've got more time to work, get that cohesion, and hit split 2 and MSI run and also EWC run real strong. Because all of a sudden we're going to have 3 or 4 months under our belt as a team now, not 3 or 4 weeks. So that's kind of the short goal. Obviously, international, we want to attend 1. Worlds was always, when I first started, trying to hit that 3rd slot because we do think it's quite open season. Championship points have thrown a bit more of a spanner into that works because it now rewards consistency, which is a good thing, by the way. I think it's a very good thing because you don't want someone just to have a bad series and they've been good all year to miss out on Worlds. That would suck. Goal split 1, be super competitive. Split 2, obviously improve on that, and split 3, hopefully make MSI split 2, but by split 3, we want to really be contending for that, that one of those top 3 places.
Yeah, I had
I think also.
Yeah.
I think importantly, because obviously me and you have talked in private quite a bit, Beau, but one of the things that we've discussed is coming into the split, I think getting playoffs was a pretty good goal to set, right? It's you don't really know what everyone's going to look like. You're new, but I think coming in as we've discussed, it's it is actually attainable to win the split. Because there's no CFO anymore. Obviously there's CFO, but there's no 2025 CFO. There's no okay, these guys are just so fucking far ahead. You look at GAM and coming in, I think the names would suggest that they might have been. Maybe you could argue Team Secret Wales as well by virtue of having the same roster essentially. But the early on in the split, it's okay, well, this is just anyone's game. It really, really is, and it just comes down to you qualify for playoffs, and out of those 6 teams, I don't think you're going to be able to predict who wins it.
No, and that's the goal. It's like anything. You got to be in it to win it. So our first goal is to be in that top 6, and then from there, it's whoever's better on the day, basically.
And Jhye fucking will be.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't Fearless, we'd just be auto-locking Ambessa and he would just be running it. Yeah. How good was his Ambessa the other day? That was very good.
It was the best one we've seen so far, for sure. Not even close.
Yeah, it was very good. He's a grinder, though.
We had Skywalk on.
What was that?
Sorry. Oh, you go first.
I was saying, this guy, Jhye, and he's done this for years and years, by the way. He will, I remember 2024, he lost in the semi-finals, which was a live event. And then by the time I'd finished, getting home, which is an hour away from the studio, he was already fucking live on Twitch playing solo queue. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm what the... Bro, your season just came to an end. It was upsetting, and now you're just straight into solo queue. It's Yeah, I couldn't believe it. This guy doesn't stop.
He's an ultimate professional, hey, from that point of view. Like he loves the game. He lives and breathes the game. So too bad he's top laner though. Why couldn't he be like some god tier mid laner that could see the whole map and just, go 30-0 or something like that?
That's what you got Jimmy and LeBlanc for.
Yeah, but top laners just sit there and bash each other for the whole game, and then eventually they end up fighting. So
yeah. That's kind of true. We need his ribbon back, man. Honestly, he hasn't been playing it at all. Like I've gone through his solo queue accounts. He doesn't play it at all. But that champ is so disgustingly OP right now. And he first got to Challenger as a Riven one trick, and he refuses to play it, man. It's just
funny. I sent Sky some rando YouTube video of someone like at a decent Challenger level just dominating on it. I was like, here you go. We're picking this.
Yeah.
I gotta know. So
I heard as well for the grapevine on similar to reactions is it was like I think Jhye said to the team, right? He was like, no more Zaheen, and then Orca just drops a sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Oh, it's good though. Innovation's fun. Like I think there's a little bit too much cooking. But I would like to see them actually be experimental. Like, I don't need to see fucking Alistair Leona every game when it's a good Janna game, Like,
yeah, we'll get into draft flexibility later, because there was a decent amount this week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could see the thought process behind it. I think we just need more reps on it, maybe, before you pull it out.
Like... He lost Flash heal level 1 and then died level 2. So it was like, okay, well, it's like... It doesn't matter what champ you are at this point. Your lane's just over.
He went like Aftershock and all that, and it was
a little
bit rough. It's a pretty powerful champion. I haven't tried it out, but it looks pretty broken. Most new champs, they always are a bit unbalanced at the start. So
both they are. It pisses me off. I had to deal with. I was like playing to get to master before the season ended, and I play top lane as well. And just every game, I'm like against that champ as a. It just did my head in, man. It just did my head in. I was so sick of it. It's been nerfed like twice since it was released, and it's still good.
Oh, really? And it's still OP.
Yep.
I used to be a Mel main, so now how I feel, I just get nerfed every single patch. It's crazy.
It deserved.
I'm a one-cheek master Jhye jungler in bronze. All right, that's all you need to know about me and my league career. All right, so
I got rolled by I got rolled by a Jhye last night. I'm not mad.
You press E and you press Q and then you run away, mate. That's it. That's about as quick as my old fingers can tattoo. All right.
No, that's good stuff.
I had Yi Jung doing pretty well. I used other language to say how he'd do against Korea at internationals this year, but I think definitely from what we've seen, he looks pretty capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think his time in the LPL benefited him.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he was always good.
He's not going to be scared of playing anyone, is he? Like he's played some of the best players in the world. He's not worried about getting in the server with anyone, and no disrespect to anyone there. But when you played at the top, you're way more comfortable competing against anybody. So no matter if his team did well or not, like he's still been in the server with some of these big names. So.
And he plays high challenger Korean solo queue as well.
Yeah.
So like he's just playing against all of them anyway. It's not like, he loads in and he sees the same guy he's versed 300 times in ranked. So it's like it's just another day. It's like it's up to his team to be able to perform to his level at that point,
We noticed that happened a lot with young players in different games as well. They would get almost psyched out by the name tags. Like we used to say in Rocket League real early on. So I know this is a League of Legends podcast, but there'd be the Renegades who used to dominate everybody. So we used to tell the guys to change the name tags off, and you can actually change it. So we actually got them, and then we started winning everything. We actually got them to change all their names to bot 1, bot 2, and bot 3. And then I was like, well, then you don't know who's hitting the ball. It's like the same. It's a game with 5 people on the rift. They got the same champ. Obviously, there's skill and different mechanics involved, but if you can take the mental side out, and there's just another person on the end of that keyboard and mouse controlling whatever that champ is, at least you're not starting behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, and again, that's something that Jhye probably can help with, right? Like he would have gone against the best cricket players, some of the best cricket players of all time, and he's still bowling them out. It's like it's just a mentality thing.
you just got to take it out of your mind. And I think a lot of people, and that's where I think Yu Jung is really good. I don't think he cares. Like I think he just goes, "Oh well, if you're there, I'm going to hit you no matter who it is." So
I think that's quite common in top laners, and I think maybe Driver was like the one exception, right? Because we heard from last year that quite often Driver would be taken out for the big important games because he'd kind of, I don't want to use crumble under the pressure, but he'd struggle with the pressure.
The stage fright.
Yeah, and so like I think quite often top laners are fairly stoic when it comes to that because ultimately in top lane you're pretty unperturbed by a lot of what's happening, right? Like you're going to get dove. Any team's going to find a way to dive you, and it's about yourself navigating or figuring out when you need to leave, or otherwise you're just bashing your head against someone and you're using the same mechanics you use no matter who you're against. So I think that is pretty typical of top laners. I think mid lane is probably where it's the most scary. You know, you like steer across the aisle from Faker or Chovy or BDD. It's like, fuck.
and anyone can come from anywhere. So
exactly. Yeah, literally. There's just like 8 different angles into mid lane.
Yeah. Poor Jimmy, the token Australian.
That's right. The fucking true blue Aussie.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to get him a Ground Zero flano by the end of the year and just get him to wear one. That and some... That I'll say flip flops for any Americans that watch. So that and some flip flops and see how he goes.
Yeah, no, that would be so good.
Yeah, I think one of the things I wanted to sort of touch on, obviously not Ground Zero related as a whole, but in terms of something we saw a decent amount over the course of this last week was the flexibility in the draft. We touched on it briefly with Ground Zero, of course, with the Zahen pick that didn't exactly turn out, but maybe it will in the future. We'll have to see. Blue Panda definitely wants it to. But there's a fair amount of like innovation that we're actually seeing in the jungle here. Some of it for the better, some of it not as great, like the Nautilus jungle. But all in all, I'm enjoying seeing more than just the same 10 champions every game.
Yeah.
I think the one thing... Oh, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, you probably see this more at the start of, like, you're obviously the expert here, Ben, but you'd see this more at the start of new seasons than anything. Everyone's trying to find that little 5% edge. So I'm talking more on a mechanic. And if all of a sudden you'll see it, that something will come into the meta that no one even thought about, and then they're playing, like last year, Silas into the jungle or whatever, like... And, the champ wasn't made for that kind of role or, thought of in that kind of role and the way it goes. But yeah.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right there. And one of the things that has stayed true between last, split one and this split one is that MVK have always been the most willing to just throw shit at the wall until it sticks. They were really, really good at it last year. Last year it was like the mid lane swaps, right? They were just picking Caitlyn and some range support every game, going straight into mid lane instead of the top lane swap that everyone else was doing, and they were dominating with it. No one knew how to deal with it. Eventually people worked it out and they struggled. But as you said, Beau, like the start of new seasons, the meta isn't really defined. And so people are trying to work out what they think is best until usually, unfortunately, LCK start playing the same things on repeat, and so everyone just follows. But what I really do hope, and this has been true for the entire history of League of Legends, is that just because Korea plays something doesn't mean you have to, right? Like, every single meta has counters. It's not like, okay, there is just an uncounterable champion in League of Legends, then this composition cannot be countered. It's people aren't willing to pick what counters a composition, right? Like if you see some like engage heavy composition, you can get a disengaged composition with something, I mentioned it before, like a Janna, or you see the enemy teams trying to scale in the bot lane, you can pick something like a Sona. These champions are really, really good when you can pick them in the right position, and you tend to see this kind of thing come through in the early stages of the season where people feel more willing to innovate. And as you said, Beau, as the season goes on, people work out or watch what LCK do, and then they're like, okay, we'll just do that. And I always wonder if it's like a fear from, public outcry or like, being harassed online or just shame of trying something out and doing badly. Because like that's one thing I did like about the Zahin was like, it's a wild pick, but being able to find that pick is like, okay, well, like we can do this with other champions that do make a little more sense. Like if you're willing to risk it and pick Zahin support, we can be willing to risk a more traditional support that's just not being picked. But yeah, sorry, bit of a ramble, but it is
true,
what Beau said.
It's true though, and I want to encourage that too, because we as in Ground Zero, we want to form our own identity. Like it's good that Korea does Korea things, but their play style is a lot different than LCP too.
Yep.
and the same LPL play style is different. Like Korea, years and years ago when I first started watching, was some of the most boring League of Legends I've ever watched in my life.
90-minute bangers.
It was so methodical because no one wanted to fight each other. Then LPL was like, stuff this, we're just gonna bash everyone, and there's just gonna be 25 kills versus 23 kills, and make it, so the Koreans had to change their play because the LPL started to match them on a level, which was really good, which basically means they're like, well, we're not going to copy you, we're going to make our own meta, and you have to fight us because we're going to make you fight us, or we're just going to take every objective. Which is good. And I hope the LCP has that identity, because you want, especially as a region that's predominantly being classed as I'll say minor region. We're not a minor region anymore because there's 4 of us in this region, and I'll say token Aussie, but we're PCS Taiwanese team.
Yeah.
So I love the cross region support we're getting. But I want us to have our own identity, so people want to tune in and watch us for exciting games or really cool or something a bit different. I'm happy to be a bit memey and we see some Heimerdingers come back out or some whatever.
Yeah.
And like, as long as it's cool and entertaining, who cares? Like,
yeah, and competitive, obviously, but that goes without saying.
Obviously competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I want to win.
I just
like,
wanted to make sure
you want to put on a good product as well. You don't want,
Mhm.
man, I don't want to see a 35-minute 2-kill versus 3-kill game. That is boring.
Well, that's how one of the games started out the other day. It was like 20 minutes, no kills or something like that. I was like, oh my God, this is so boring to co-stream.
Yeah. I think one thing that's cool about the LCP, and it's because of the amount of diversity within the league, but like we already have our own like different stuff. I mean, the pick bans are like pretty much all copy paste of each other mostly. Like there's some diversity, but in general, it's like the PCS teams have their own way of playing, and the VCS teams tend to have their way of playing. And I think this year with the inclusion of DCG, it's kind of like DCG are more VCS style and GARM typically are more PCS style. So there is a little bit of crossover in that regard, but we kind of have our own diversity when it comes to stylistically playing League of Legends in our region, which is kind of cool. It's harder to work out LJLs. I think LJLs is kind of like the PCSs more than VCS, but just a little less refined, potentially. I'm not sure, but yeah, it is cool.
Well, I mean, they've got to get exposed a bit more. It was like when Australia was coming to the PCS. How long did it take the Australian teams to adapt? It took us years to even take it serious, because you're not exposed to this environment. That these players in Taiwan get to play on Korean servers and get to play against some of the best players and the Chinese servers and best players in the world. Where we play against in Australia, and when I say we, the LCO guys back in the day played against the same probably 20 blokes every.
Vestion in the top lane, yeah.
Correct. And I'm like, why is this diamond in my challenger log?
You got a free win there.
But you know what I mean. So like,
Yeah.
it takes time to adapt. So I think we're already seeing more competitive. You'll see LJL get way more competitive the longer they're in this season. But you do see it, and I'm pretty sure. It's not exclusive to us, but I'm pretty sure I'm seeing teams scrimming whatever region they're playing that week. They're scrimming one of the other 2 teams in there. So if we've got a Vietnamese team, we'll try and get a couple of Vietnamese scrims, because they do have a style. Same with PCS and LJL, because you want to get used to that style. And we can see the Vietnamese teams just want to fight everything. They just turn on anything. You think, oh, the fight's done, and then all of a sudden there's 4 of them back on you.
Yeah. It is exciting though, typically, which is cool.
Cool.
But yeah,
it's rivalries as well. Like that's just not the same people, and because it is cross region, we don't. The depth in the league has probably got better, because you're not trying to fit 8 Taiwanese teams into a league and trying to because naturally the depth is going to get weaker, because trying to fit that many players into 8 teams. So now you've only got 3 and 3 and 2. Like
you don't really have 40 of the absolute apex tier of players. Like it's like logistically it's not possible. So I agree. I think that's the big thing about this league is like you've condensed all the top talent, and I think maybe VCS lost out a little bit in terms of like there are still some very, very good players that miss out, right? But it is better to have a couple players left out, in my opinion, than have like 40 players, of which only really there's 3 teams made out of them competing. I think it does make for, as an entertainment sort of point of view, much better for the league. So I agree.
Well, you saw it with the PCS. Even when we were coming over as ground zero, we were scared of the top four, and then
Mhm.
after that, we're like, well, it gets significantly weaker after that top four because
Yeah.
there's just depth of talent. There's only so many, good top laners, etc., to go around. So
Yeah, I mean, you got to see it there, right? Like you'd verse like from third till sixth, I think you guys versed, right? And then there would
yeah,
be PSG and CFO or PSG and Frank one year, just waiting up at the top. And it's
correct.
like we didn't make it to that far, but like no one that ended up getting through the bottom stage got even close to taking those
No,
two teams down. So it was like, yeah, there is just a very, very big gap.
there
And now there
wasn't.
isn't.
No.
Last year there was, but now there isn't.
But I think that's also gonna be everyone's had other than us, but we're lucky that we're a PCS, so the players are local, so they don't really have to adjust to a new home or anything like that. Different living conditions, but it's still, the food and the transport and everything, it's what they've grew up with. So it's not a big adjustment. Where I think a lot of these import teams had to pick up their whole lives and move to a new country. So after 12 months, you probably get a bit more comfortable in your surroundings. You feel, any bit of homesickness or whatever may have, subsided, or you've got used to it, or the orgs have put things in place to make sure the players are dealing with that, which is good. I haven't seen anyone go home for that, which is really good, which means everyone's doing a really good job of keeping everyone happy.
Hmm.
And that's why I think you're seeing these super close games. People more comfortable, like as well. Like I think everyone thought the Vietnamese teams would just get stomped by the PCS teams when the LCP first started. Everyone I think thought, other than Gam, thought it
Other
was
than
going to
Gum,
be
yeah,
3 PCS teams and Gam, and
yeah,
then that was it. And then they
yeah.
thought OS and LJL would struggle, and the other two Vietnamese teams would kind of fit
They
in
were
there.
fucking right about that, mate.
Yeah.
They were right about that part. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, very, very true. And it is a testament. I think what we see from the VCS teams and typically, and maybe the exclusion would be MVK, but it's like the
Yeah,
owners are really, really hands on. Like
yeah,
TK is constantly over in Taipei doing whatever, whether it be content or just. I mean, you saw
Staring
right,
at the
like
camera.
they qualified for MSI and Levy just leaps into TK's arms. Like it's
yeah,
it's very like the owner there, and I had the pleasure of meeting. I think from memory his name's John, the owner of Team Secret Wales,
yep.
and himself as well. He's like talking about going over there and like supporting the boys and like helping them adjust to just doing life because before they left Vietnam they'd really never really experienced it. So I think that's one way that
Yeah.
the owners of these VCS orgs have like really made sure that there isn't issues of like homesickness or at least none that impact the level of play.
Well, that Riot did a good job. Credit where credit's due. They picked good people to be able to do this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If they didn't get the right orgs and the right people involved, it would have been a shit show. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because you're moving a whole operation to a new country. Like that's difficult, no matter
Yeah.
who you are. Like we can come and go visa free to Taiwan, and it's been difficult even for what we've had to do, let alone um the
The
Vietnamese teams. They've
VCS,
got to
that's
get
the
visas.
hardest.
Yeah, exactly. Got to get visas. Got to do a lot of other. There's a lot of logistics around getting into Taiwan, and they've done
Yeah.
really well. So I think most of them are all fully set up, and they're doing really well. So
Yeah. Yeah. Even I remember Garm from. I can't remember who I heard this from, but when they first were going over to the LCP last year, they were staying at the Talon facilities because like it
yeah,
was so hard for them to actually locate, a house and because they're setting up visas and whatnot. So
yeah.
even in that standpoint, obviously everyone has heard about Talon and whatnot, but
Mhm.
the fact that other teams are so willing to step in and assist them as well, it was a really good selection from them at the start, the Riot.
And even those guys, when I first met the Talon guys, even I won't go into everything that's happened. Everyone knows what's going on, but they were so welcoming to us, even as an OCE, or they invited us to their facility so we could get an understanding if we were successful for the LCP, what happened, how they set it up, all that kind of stuff. And TK's been the same. Like he's helped us massively, and hats off to all these org owners. It doesn't happen enough here in Australia. There's only a handful of people, even at the height, that would really hold their hat out and go, "Hey guys, I'm willing to show you or help you or something like that because you're going through the same struggles that I did, and I don't want you to make the same mistakes or have the same issues." Where these guys have been really welcoming, like we were having some just troubles just getting PCs and a few other little logistic things. and TK's just put me in touch with people and said, "Here you go, talk to these people; they'll help you out." You know, he didn't have
so
to do
sick.
that, and that's really like I'm really welcoming, and I'm really like thankful. These guys are so welcoming to us because it has helped. You know, because they've had 12 months of doing all this, so they know they've already experienced it all. So, you know, any kind of advice, I'm willing to take it on. I do appreciate everyone that's helped us.
Amazing. I mean, it's good to see how like close the teams are as well. Like obviously, there's other regions where they're not as friendly with each other. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's a little bit more prickly than normal. But it's good to see at least here we've got that going. I guess I wanted to ask Ben, how's your first week of co-streaming going? Had some guests on. You
Yeah.
had some fun.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. I mean, yeah, I made sure to try and make each one a little bit different, and be a bit more unfiltered with my opinions, right? Like when I'm doing casting versus when I'm doing co-streaming. When I'm casting, I'm always my first priority is to make sure I'm building up the players and not saying anything that would be to the detriment of themselves, right? And I think that's really important as a caster because it's your job to set the narratives. But when I'm co-streaming, I feel more free to like give an objective opinion. Like if I think something went poorly, I feel okay to be like, okay, well this was bad and here's why, in a more direct sense. Um, so it's been good, and obviously, like I while he's here, and I've already done it last week, but a big shout out to Ground Zero for being like as supportive of me as they have been, like even making posts on all their socials to say I'm going live, and they've all turned up at their time that they've been able to say hi or to get involved and whatnot. It's been really good, and Skywalk as well. Obviously, he's still part of Ground Zero. He came in and joined me on one of the streams to talk a little bit about GZ, to talk about what he's seeing, what he thinks about the game and stuff. So it's all been going really, really well. I've really enjoyed it.
I'll have to get you on there sometime.
Yeah, as long as it's a game that we win, all right. I'm a sore loser. So you want to see me on stream when I lose.
The XL KMT co-stream could go crazy.
Oh.
I honestly, I'll get on live with Kevin if we were playing the CFO, and I'll just sit there. We can just flame each other. Like gloves are off. Like
yeah, it would be so funny.
I think he's funny as like, and he does really well. He takes banter very well, which is good.
He does.
So
yeah, no, he's a really good guy. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times too, and in person, he's no different in person than he is online. So it's like that is just who he is, and he's fucking good quality, man. He's another good personality.
The industry need good people like that. It's good.
Yeah,
good to have good
very
people
much so
around. No, it's good. And like I said, when you jumped in and kind of memed CFO losing the first game, that was some of the best content I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, me and Kevin get along well, so it's really easy to banter back and forward.
Like I said, the one I want to beat TK. I want to tell the guy, like I said,
oh, that's
beat TK.
Yeah,
Friday.
Know that he's got some competition. All right, that's what I really gunning for this Friday. So
I think that's the one series I can't catch this week because I already have plans. So I'm like, I'm going to be checking my phone while I'm DMing. I'm just like, okay, let's see if they win or not.
All right, I'll be there.
4:30 on a Friday. Come on.
Well, it's the second series. I got D&D to run, man. I got people coming over. I got to set the scene. I got to get my whole place together.
Not a true Perth fan. That's what I'm going to say.
I'll catch what I can. I'll catch what I can. Hey, I went down to Mandurah. For you guys. I'm a Perthie. I risked my life down there.
You what? You risk your life down Mandurah. Don't
Mandra's
say that
tough,
too
man.
loud. I'm still doing stuff down in Mandurah. I might get in trouble. So for people who don't know, Mandra's about 40, 50 minutes south of Perth and has a stigma. That's all I'm going to say about it. So
a stigma, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like Hamilton.
Yeah, I'll take your word
New
on
Zealand
it.
equivalent. Yeah. Dude, I want to ask Beau one thing real quickly. Is how meaningful has sort of the fan reception been for you? Because obviously, like, I'm very active on Threads, and the Threads community just fucking love you guys. Honestly, like, there's such a good reception. So, like, what's that been in terms of like the meaning for you and Jhye and Ground Zero?
It's actually been really refreshing, to tell you the truth. Okay, coming from a base here where the fans can be really hot or cold in Australia, and that's not calling anyone out. It's just that's Australian culture in general, how we build our teams. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
everyone. It's not an esports thing. It's just Australian culture. These guys have been so welcoming. It's actually been. I was very nervous when we had our interviews with Riot. That was one of my concerns, is how I'd be received by the local Taiwanese community, taking, you know, a spot from one of their favorites. Like Talon was a fan favorite and everyone loved them. And how I was received back home with not taking the OCE, which wasn't a choice I had. I had to take the PCS slot, just to clear that up for anyone that thinks I chose it. It was a vacant PCS slot that I had to bid for.
Yeah.
Mate, I've got translator on there now, trying to learn Mandarin, trying to see all their warm wishes and people making signs and merchandise and messaging us. Can we use your logo to build a sign for the arena and doing that? Like, we actually got a fan meet and greet on the 8th of February after our game. So we're gonna have some cool little presents for everyone who comes by. You know, so they can get some stuff signed and get photos with the players and really engage with the guys. So now it's been like, haven't ever experienced anything like this at like not a Worlds event or something like that. I've been to international massive events where the fans are obviously pumped because everyone attending are massive fans, but this has just been overwhelming from online with our entry, and I think it's mainly because the players we've got are just really popular players. That helps as well. They're very well known in the community. They're very well respected and they're fan favorites. So that's definitely helped our transition into Taiwan being a bit easier. But it is. Even Matt, our GM, he's been doing this for a long time. He did early days Fnatic and Chiefs early days. Even back in those old glory days when they were going to Worlds every year and stuff like that. And he said he's never seen any or experienced anything like this ever, which is awesome. So
yeah, it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just cool. It's just cool having people that actually care about something that we all care so much about. You know, they also care about it, which is awesome. So
yeah, I think in OC you'd get like a congratulations quote retweet or something, and over there you're getting like literal hundreds of posts every game day of like, here's me at the arena with a Yijang sign, or like, here's a post of the highlights of the Ground Zero game. It's like
fan
holy
art
shit,
and all
man.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
100%. And none of that's us driven. They're doing all of this off their own back. You know, sometimes you'll see some stuff in Australia where it'll be an org, you know, that's, you know, partnered with someone or doing stuff with local people all the time to really boost engagement. This is all off their own back. They're like legitimate fanatical
Fans.
about League of Legends and fans. Which is so cool. Like, we'll have merch dropping soon. We're just waiting for the new jerseys and that to come so we can have all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we can start filling the arena in green and black, and we won't see none of that yellow and blue from CFO and the brown and yellow from GAM. We'll get rid of all that in the crowd.
It's bright colors in there.
Look, I'm happy to trial some if you need.
That's fine. That's fine. I've got silver elite that I can put on the back of your jersey as well, mate. All right, for
you reckon? Yeah. No. Last night in Dust 2 hit gold Nova 1, mate.
There we go.
Yeah, fucking big rank that. That was.
If you got Jhye teaching you ECS, you're in a world of trouble, all right?
He's decent though. I think sometimes he loses patience and just sprints it down mid with an SMG, but like he is better than me, that's for sure.
He's terrible at CS, all right? I can happily say that.
Oh, fair enough. I know Sheep was telling me that he's quite good at CS. He was telling me the other day. Yeah.
The best is Legits. I think he's consistently been at a top level for a long, long time. So
I'll have to get him in my competitive games then.
Yeah, he'll just carry you. It's fine.
Sit back and relax.
But yeah, no, so hopefully with the fan stuff, we'll like 8th of Feb, we'll have new merch, we'll have signs. We're getting some cool little cutouts for fan engagement in the audience. But I do really want to see more fans making stuff because it's cool. Like, we'll get the players to come sign your stuff. We just need to know you're there. So bring it and we'll get it done.
Yeah, sick.
What's like the long-term goal? Because obviously, you guys are in a guest spot. Was there, maybe this isn't something that you can discuss, but was there ever a discussion for taking a partner slot? Or was that like a long-term thing?
There there was a discussion. I can't disclose anything else. There was
Fair.
a discussion early days. I think to make the league more competitive, I think the partner slots need to eventually go.
Yeah.
Okay, and makes everyone more accountable. That's just my personal opinion. So I think Riot saw an opportunity where they could get rid of one of those partner slots. So all of a sudden, you've not got 4 teams that can get relegated. You've got 5, and it instantly makes sure that everyone's putting their best foot forward and putting it. And I think if you're going to have a competitive league, and the partner teams have done exactly what they should have done anyway. They've been super competitive, so they've picked the right teams. But I think you can't have someone do worse than a guest team and then still be safe. So I will, my personal opinion, and it was the opinion from the start, because there's no other advantages other than, by the way, you don't get any there's no other advantages other than you were safe. It was more so people invested more, these bigger teams invested more into the league. That's all it was, to give them some security around sponsors and stuff like that. So once that goes, I think it's next year it finishes up. It was a 2 or 3 year contract.
I think it was 2+1. I think
So once that goes, I don't see there won't be a partner guest team. There'll just be 8 teams that play in the league. There won't be. I don't think they'll segregate them into the roles. It'll just be whoever the best 8 teams are, and if you're in one of the 2 bottom slots, you're going to fight for promo relegation.
I think that is always the best way to do it. I truly do. Like, the franchising in terms of like the profit share part is really good, but like the fact that, and I always bring this back to NA with the LCS, there was like Immortals were just coming last like for 4 years straight and just kept their spot because of franchising. It's like, well, it's a flawed system, right? Like, that team not only is going to have no fans because they're not trying to win, but it's like, well, you're just wasting an opportunity for someone that might be in the academy that actually would try and win. And so I do very much think it is better to just have straight 8 spots. If you come second, or if you come 8th or 7th, then you could lose your spot.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're not instantly relegated like soccer or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, you still can fight for your right. And 9 times out of 10, like Vikings,
Jace was just the one.
Yeah.
Huh?
Jace was just the one time out of 10.
But they weren't fighting Oce. If they fought an Oce team, they would have won hands down.
They would have won. Yeah.
Would have won hands down. Like, they struggled against some of those PCS teams, but that DCG team, look what they're doing LCG teams right now. Like, they're no schmucks. Like, Chiefs lost to a very good side. Like,
the same. Just let me clarify. The same very good side that Ground Zero beat. Just same.
Yep.
Just.
You could, yeah, I'll take that. So, but you know what I'm saying, like, and I do think as the league gets stronger, the gap will happen naturally between tier 1 and tier 2 anyway, because the players will be more exposed to playing on stage. They're in houses. They've got more infrastructure that a tier 2 system doesn't have. Like, our PCS team last year, all 26 of them played from home. Where this year we've got a team house and coaches, and we've got support staff. We just got way more stuff, and that's thanks to the opportunity the LCP gives you to be able to support these players more. So,
I think importantly too, and like this is sort of touching on Oce very briefly, but the possibility for making a berth into the LCP from the tier 2 is just so much higher from either the VCS or the PCS, because they have a functioning tier 2 system. They have a system that rewards talent for coming up and like is viable way through. Whereas Oce, I mean, we don't even know what this year is going to look like, and I think it's probably much the same for Thailand, Philippines, all those places, Singapore, Malaysia. It's like, you've got the VCS, you've got the PCS. Everyone else is like, and there's the LGL one as well. But everyone else is like, you're going to probably have a qualifier, and then hopefully the straggling players that you manage to just band together can somehow do it. It's like, it's not very likely. It's very, very unlikely. And that also means the teams in there can just continue to funnel new players through. I mean, we see CFO doing it now with 2274, right? So
it makes it very hard. You get exposed to the next talent instantly. Yeah. And we even copped it last year. We picked PCS when there was unsure of what the Australian League was going to be. So basically said, hey, you got a one-time opportunity to move regions. So we jumped at that opportunity. And that wasn't anything against Australia. We just didn't know what was happening here. So I'd rather take the league and compete and then not compete at all. So, and which obviously doing that exposed us to the region, helped us with our bid for LCP because we've already done 12 months. Probably helped us with a bit of the fandom that we spoke about earlier because people actually saw that we're willing to give Taiwan a crack first and not just come in because, you know, there's incentives from Riot for the LCP or whatever. We came in and actually did the grind. Which I don't see, like, it's going to be hard for an Aussie team to do that. Like, it's the depth, and it's going to take a big few years of growing that region again. Up to where it was. Because I think at the height, if you look at the Australians competing around league around the world, there's some high level Australians. And that was part of my early pitch was I wanted to create a pathway so Australians didn't have to go play in NA or Europe.
Yeah.
So they could go into Asia.
Honestly, you look at the LCP, I could pretty easily name 5 players to put together in a team that could beat DFM. I think that would be a pretty easy sort of team to. No, I'm being serious. Like, obviously, it'll take time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think it'll take time to, you know, build them up as a team to be able to beat them. But like individually as players, they are good enough to win.
Yeah.
But the issue is, before you get to that game, you have to beat either the VCS winner or the PCS winner.
Yeah.
That is the hurdle you got to get to before you can try and make it into the LCP. I think beating the DFM is like, I don't want to say easy. Like, I don't want to discredit them too much, but it is probably easier to beat DFM than it is to beat the winner of the PCS or the winner of the VCS. Because I mean, DCG this year was the winner, right, of the PCS. But they are better than anyone that we probably could put together. I mean, we saw them take down Chiefs, which would be the best team we probably. I mean, maybe there's some changes, but like, you know,
Chiefs roster was pretty solid for an Australian roster they could put together. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
it was just not even close.
It's just, unfortunately, there's more depth in VCS and PCS at the moment. Like,
and it is largely the pipeline, I mean, and geographically too. Like, you can scrim Korea, you can scrim China, you can, you know, you've just got so much more opportunity.
That goes back to what we said before about opportunity. And that's just, and that's not just a league thing. You look at CS, you look at Rocket League, you look at a lot of other titles. Because of our location, we don't get the reps in against top talent enough. So you've got to go to international events to be able to get those reps in. And they only happen a few times a year, where these other regions, because of where they are, get to do it all year round. So by default, like, Kobe Bryant used to talk about his extra practice per day. Like, everyone's doing 2 practices and he'd make sure he does 3, because by the end of the year, he's done 365 more practices than the next person. So no matter how good you are, you're never catching him because he's put that much more work in. It's as simple as that. Like, so, but yeah, it is what it is. We're happy to be part of it. We're hoping to get some upsets. Hope to get in the crowd soon.
It's only upsets this split. Next split, it's the expected result. Just letting you know.
No, I mean upsets on the world stage.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll be winning that shit. That's walk in the park, mate.
T1 who?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's another funny thing.
Get a Master Yi skin for me. That's it.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
I want to say this, like, for people, because obviously, on what day was it? It must have been Sunday, right? I only co-streamed the first game because I wanted to watch Jhye's cricket. And Skywalk, the coach of Ground Zero, was watching it with me, and he has absolutely no idea about anything cricket related. And basically, he did like a little bit of research on Jhye's team, and he came back to me with, "Wow, Jhye's team are the T1 of cricket." So
yeah,
well, 6 titles now.
14 or 15 or whatever it is. It's like, you know, just under 50%. It's like 40% or something like that.
Yeah.
But they've played in 9 or something of 15 finals.
Yeah, it's almost exactly mirroring T1, by the way, because they've won 6. So T1's also won 6, and it's out of like 15, which I think League is out of 15 technically, but T1 were only there 15, from season 3. But yeah.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it is crazy the crossover there. I just found his response funny. He also saw Jhye get a wicket and called it a home run. So
I love it.
So.
With obviously we talked about Oceania a fair amount. What do you see as like a pathway in the future. Like obviously Chiefs in the past did like their scouting grounds and all that kind of stuff, but those sorts of things aren't really quite financially viable for a lot of teams.
Honest answer, I don't know at the moment. I think I need to have some talks with Riot and see if they're going to let some more community stuff happen. What other games do very well? They let community organizers run tier 2 competitions a lot. I think we need a lot more of that happening just to find out who's who in the zoo first. Because right now, there's going to be a big shift of the old guard leaving because obviously there was an opportunity. So they've moved on to other pastures, gone to uni, got a job, done whatever. So we've got to find the next 16, 17-year-olds that want to come and play League of Legends. So from that, you've got to give them a chance to be able to play. I think the uni leagues, offer that, which is a start. But then I think there needs to be one step more for that for everyone who's not at university, because there would be some kid right now that's, some high rank challenger that no one's heard of before, but it just hasn't got an opportunity in a team environment. So there, like I said before, there has been players that have multiple players that are still playing on tier 1 teams that are Aussies. So the talent's obviously been there. We just got to find it and unearth it and nurture it. So I think in 2026 there needs to be probably some more grassroots stuff happen in Australia that feeds into the promo relegation tournament that will happen. And then hopefully from there's a bit more of a sustainable pipeline because it just needs more league at the end of the day because you can only learn so much a solo queue. It's not the same game as a team League of Legends. It's so, and we've even noticed that ourselves when we were coming through the LCO, we were unearthing some talent, but then we put them in a team environment and they just weren't up to par because they were so used to just running down lane and destroying everyone because they were just better than everybody else. But it doesn't work like that in a team environment, and you got to sometimes pick characters that work with the comp, etc. So there needs to be more tier 2 stuff in Oz. And when I say tier 2, it's probably technically tier 3 because it's not a PCS or VCS. So I'm talking about kind of grassroots community run leagues. And I reckon players need to also stop worrying about all the prize pool and all that kind of stuff right now. And I know that's incentive to play, but if you want to play league and want to get an opportunity to play, you need to play. $500 isn't going to change your life right now. Just play the game and try and prove yourself that you're a good player. So
we were part of Hallow's Hallow's thing in late last year, and that worked out pretty well. I think the community really got behind that.
Yeah, I think since 2024, I think I've organized 4 different tournaments, or helped organize, or directly organize 4 different, 5 if you include OPQ. So, yeah, I mean it's and Riot are very supportive. Whenever I message them and be like, "Could I do this?" They'll be like, "Yep, sweet." So it's like, okay, cool.
100% are. They just need more people like you guys to take the ownership. There's another entity called Defrag that does CS and a few other comps. And they've got a little studio and they've done that all off their own backs. But teams get behind it because of the ecosystem's different. You get points and those points lead into other tournaments where this is a bit more different. So commercially, it might be a bit harder for league stuff, but we need people like that take the reins. And Ground Zero and Chiefs and every other org in Australia needs that because we need to be able to see where the next crop of talent's coming from in whatever title. And if there's not that pathway, things like what we've had to do this year or, in the previous years of go to the PCS and stuff like that and leave the region to keep growing, which is unfortunate, but had to do what had to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you didn't and you waited all year just for the OPQ as Ground Zero, you've just wasted a year. It's just minus 1 year. So, yeah,
and I don't think we would have got the LCP slot either.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have been a PCS
I don't
team.
think we would have been in a strong enough position, and we were already in the ecosystem. We're already working with Carry. We're already doing all of that stuff, which obviously helped. So it was none of it that we're experiencing now. Obviously, it's a tier up, and the support we get is amazing. The staff and everything they do behind the scenes, people don't see what goes on to put on that broadcast and that show. It's full on. You would see it, but it's nuts.
Yeah,
we're
you've got
already exposed to
multiple
it.
companies with media, voiceovers, and like
Correct.
a different team to do this part of it. You've got media days, and yeah, there's a lot going on.
Well, yeah, you got 5 language
Hmm.
broadcasts.
Yeah,
So that's
Germany.
just broadcast, let alone all the
Yeah, 5.
media stuff. Yeah, 5, yeah.
Yeah,
Let alone everything else they organize as well. They do it well. And like even the content I think's risen more this year. Like look at the level of like that hype video at the start was
Oh yeah.
awesome. Even
oh
just
yeah,
like I
Even the
saw a tweet
graphics.
out. Yeah, 100%. I was about to say, I saw a tweet out today, someone promoting, I think it was Molecule or someone, hyping up the stories because I think yet again, we're now not a fresh league anymore. There are stories now. So now you can leverage those kind of stories and start talking about it. You know, us and DCG were the newcomers. So there's a storyline there. There's the head-to-heads with obviously the VCS and PCS and yeah.
yeah.
So
And CFO definitely put us on the map a little bit. So
100%.
credit to them. Yeah, credit to Junja. Honestly,
Yeah,
that guy's
top
so
6 in the
insane.
top 6, I think. Did they finish top 6?
Top 8.
I think it's
Top 8.
technically top
Top
8,
8.
but yeah,
But still, at the end of the day, like punching
yeah,
well above their weight in compared to what those other teams do. I know people meme and say they're owned by a bank, but
that is true though.
the T1 and stuff of the world. Yeah, but a bank, if you've ever tried to get a loan out of a bank, they don't just give you money for nothing, all right? So like T1s of the
Yeah.
world and stuff like that, and with the support and that they got, and they're mixing it with some of these biggest orgs in the world, they've done very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ended up losing to the team that eventually came second, so it's like no
Yeah.
shame.
No, and it wasn't.
And we beat T1.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. I still remember that. I was like, "Holy shit, what just happened?"
Yeah, man.
Like,
Crazy shit.
yeah.
And
I
now
was
it's
on my-
Ground Zero doing it this year. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Now it's Ground Zero doing that.
I tell you, if we ever get in a server and happen to beat one of those teams eventually, you'll know about it. Like,
Yeah. You'll
Can
be
we
giving
expect to
yourself
I
shoot?
might even
pancreatitis.
smile. He might even have a beer with me. The bloke doesn't drink. He might even go and have a beer with me. All right. So
Yeah. I had a Diet Coke with him.
we did say if we ever win anything, he likes his wine. He's not a big wine drinker, but he has got a couple of nice bottles of red. And we did say the first big tournament we ever win, we're going to crack this certain bottle of red that he's got
Ooh,
and have a
nice.
glass together. So
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, this year, bro, honestly, like, there's no reason why you can't win. Again, it's like, in terms of odds, it's like a 7-way split, and it's like really, really hard to tell. It's just like, whatever. You've got just as good a chance as anyone.
no,
Which is,
I honestly believe that. I just got to
Yeah.
play the non-arrogant card to make sure,
You're
like
Australian, bro. That's not in
Yeah.
your nature.
we're a newcomer. What I say off camera is a bit different.
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah,
to upset
yeah.
too many people yet. But like I
Yeah.
said, I will call out if I do beat TK this weekend. I will video call him and I'll record it and
Nice.
I'll post it on Threads for you boys to let you know. All right.
Yeah,
But
good.
he's not allowed to video call me because I'm a sore loser. So if he beats
Oh, that's good.
I'll be
Doable.
crying in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
Have to get Yijang prepared, bro. He's about to put on a carry of a lifetime.
Oh yeah. Get him in the hyperbolic time chamber, just prepping.
100%. Well, like I said, everyone in the house is done. I think 3 out of the 5 are in as of now, and the last 2 come tomorrow. So then we're fully set up, so we can stop getting flamed on Threads about our dorm not being. That's my translation in Chinese of our dorm not being prepared. Buying a whole house full of stuff when you're trying to read it in another language is way more difficult than I would have thought. But lucky IKEA exists in Taiwan, so yeah, you could pretty much get a whole house from IKEA, which is good. So,
yeah, fuck yeah.
I love that.
but yeah,
As we head into our first Super Week of the year, that's this week. So 4 days of games. Going to be a bit grueling overall. Obviously, we'll get into the previews in a moment, but you guys have got GARM and then Dead FM. So little bit of a roller coaster of preparedness.
We'll beat Garm and lose to DFM. You watch.
Yeah.
That's my luck in ground zero. Like we'll win the ones where people will tip against us, and we'll lose the ones. And that's just been the story of me in 7 years in GZ. I
Yeah.
go in thinking, oh, this one should be a bit easier. No.
Yeah, I think you're pretty. I mean, if you beat Garm, it sets you up so well. You know, like you pretty much, in my mind, if you beat Garm, you're pretty much guaranteed playoffs. Essentially, from that point, you know, like it's going to be pretty hard for you to be overtaken. That's assuming, of course, that you beat DFM as well. Like assuming you were able to win both series, it's like if you have 3 wins, you've probably ended up winning. Yeah, not winning. Sorry, you've probably ended up making playoffs. So it is a big and important weekend.
2 wins
for you.
pretty much get you there. I think us, even our losses, because they've been 2-1s, has actually favoured us. Like technically, we're behind SHG, but our points are better than them.
Yeah.
Points actually count this year instead of head-to-heads, which I actually think is kind of good. So we're technically in front of them because of the 2-0. I think the 2-2-0s they copped, or the 2-0. I can't remember their 2 scores. I know DCG 2-0'd them. I think Secret Wales may have as well. So
for SHG, yeah, they got 2-0'd both times and then won 2-1 against you. So they've got less points.
Yeah, correct. So that definitely helps. So yeah, 1, as long as you don't get flogged, any gets you there. But we're not looking to win 1. We're looking to, we got 4 more games.
Yeah, well, why not try and win the next 4? You know, you don't have to settle.
Exactly. That the goal is to win. At least 50% of those, and if you do that, you're in finals. And if you win 3 or 4 of them, you're right up there with how close the season is. You're in the top 2 or 3. So
well, your strength of schedule's pretty solid overall, right? You've got GARM and then DFM, CFO, MVK. So arguably the weaker of the 2 top teams currently are on your horizon next after GARM.
Yeah, correct. That's what I mean. It's weird how it's like. Yeah, it's just how it's fallen, but we've got theoretically, I'm going to say on paper, because I don't want to, flame anyone, but a stronger and then a weaker opponent on either days like that. But who knows? Like I said, it could be anyone. Where the boys may have thought SHG were weaker on Sunday, but it proved not to be.
Yeah, I think getting what you would call it, MVK as your last opponent is pretty good, because by then they've usually been solved. Like again, it's like
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh, of course. But what I'm saying is like you don't know what to expect with them right now, right? Like they came out with the Mal bot, then the Nidalee bot, then the Nautilus jungle. Like they're still just doing the classic MVK thing where they're being very innovative.
Yeah.
But you've got they've got 3 more games until they're against you. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's 4.
Yeah.
Anyway,
everyone's got 4 games. Everyone's played their 3 games now. So
right. Yeah. So
4 games to go.
Yeah, so they've got 3 games to go through, and then they'll be versing you guys. That's
3
quite a lot of
yeah.
So there's a lot of games to see. Like that's 3 series. That's a lot of games to try and work them out. And each game that goes by, it becomes more and more known. Generally, with MVK, does sort of understand what they're trying to do. So I think getting them at the back end of the season is like actually just perfect. It's like you wouldn't want them at the start because they're just so hard to predict.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, Secret Wales first off the bat, second on the ladder, and a double week in week 1 when we were coming in so late was a bit rough as well, but that's all right. Yeah, it is what it is. The schedule's the schedule. You got to beat whoever you can beat, and I know that's real cliche, but we've got to play once. You got to
if you want to win, you got to beat everyone. Is the classic, right?
So. That's the goal. So it starts on Thursday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thursday. 2 p.m. regular start time. Well, 2 p.m. for us, and everywhere else is in Fairyland, so they can figure out the time zones from there. But heading into,
isn't it? Like some ridiculous time in the morning over there.
7 p.m.
Yeah. We gotta get you over here for the finals if GZ's on top.
True.
I've already told him that. Jhye's got a guest house. You can go stay in the guest house.
Ooh.
In his shed.
Yeah.
In his shed out the back.
Yeah.
We get you in full merch, head to bottom.
True. It's so criminal if like it's a Team Secret Wales day, I can go live with a Team Secret Wales Worlds jersey. I got a CFO jersey. I'm a Ground Zero co-streamer, man. I'm gonna need one of those.
So what I'm hearing is that you've never supported us enough to go onto our website and buy a jersey. That's what
I
I'm
haven't bought
hearing
any
right
merch.
now.
I'll tell you right now, I've never bought a bit of merch in my damn life.
So you're not a real
I'm the
esports
issue.
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
fan.
That's me. I'm the problem.
To be fair, New Zealand dollars are like pixie dust. It's not worth anything.
Isn't it like
That's actually
Canadian
true.
dollars to the US?
Yeah.
That is actually true. I remember when I was growing up, like, this is way off track now, but when I was growing up, it was like I was at high school and I remember a day where the New Zealand and Australian dollar were literal 1-to-1. Because I can't remember, one of my teachers was telling us about it. Now it's like 70 cents to a dollar, man. It's so fucked. What's happened, bro?
Yeah.
What's going on?
But
Oh,
does it even itself out? I've never been to NZ, but surely it just evens itself out. Like a can of like Coke or
it doesn't.
coffee or something's probably the same. Like, you know, Australia, Perth coffee's expensive. That's how I measure things when I go to new places. I measure how expensive the coffee is, and then I'm like, oof, this is.
Well, I usually do a Big Mac.
Yeah. Well, when you get to my age, you can't be smashing too many Big Macs because they don't come off you very quick. So, but yeah.
I love that.
Good.
So yeah, starting off the weekend, we've got MVK going up against Deep Cross. So top of the standings pretty much. Obviously, Garm's just ahead of them in game score, but I think this might be the game that we'll see if MVK's scoreline is a bit inflated, or perhaps obviously they took down Garm, so they're definitely up there. But obviously we had them pretty low on our rankings overall. But I think this will be their first true test.
I mean, Garm was a true test.
Yeah, but Garm looked
Garm's
a little
more
bit
of a test
shaky
than
against DFM
DCG.
as well.
Oh, I mean, I think that Garm are better than DCG. If they can beat Garm, they should beat DCG. To be honest, I think that's just plain and simple. DCG haven't looked that amazing. Like, to be honest, they right against SHG, it was a 2-0, but it was a very, very rough 2-0. Like, they were down something like 8k gold, and SHG threw, and they ended up winning. Obviously, they lost to Ground Zero, and then I can't even remember.
Wales.
They did beat. Oh yeah, they did beat Team Secret Wales, which was their best performance so far.
Yeah.
So you could say, they leveled up from between the Ground Zero series and then the Team Secret Wales series, but also Team Secret Wales looked a bit rough in that series too. But to me, I think Garm look really good, and if with MVK beating Garm, especially with how Garm beat CFO, right? It just to me says they are a solid team. But what I'm worried or what I'm curious about is how much of that is their innovation, their creativeness, versus how much of it is just being a solid.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Team.
So why did you guys pick them so low then? Or why are they overperforming? Why do you believe they're overperforming, or why you thought they would be lower? Because I watched them a few times last year and they surprised me. Over the course of the season, obviously they finished where they finished.
Yeah.
But sometimes they looked and I was like, oh, this team's unstoppable. Like, they had those flashes of excellence. I think it was just more consistency on Vikings' time, because their best is very, very good, and then sometimes they had a really poor showing. But
yeah. I mean, very true, but that's kind of the point, right? Is like they started off split one looking really, really good, and they ended up finishing fifth. So only SHG in the playoffs were lower than them. And so to me, it's like, I mean, this split starting off much the same. And I don't believe in their longevity, because again, a lot of their success comes from, I don't want to call it cheese, but it's just stuff other teams aren't doing, but can be figured out.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's like, okay, early on in the season, I always expect them to come out swinging, but we've still got a long time left of the split, really. I mean, it's only a month, but like, that's a lot of games that people can potentially figure them out.
Don't want to show all your cards too early then.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, you'll see a lot of the best teams don't pick their best shit until they need to,
Oh, people will be practicing stuff now for playoffs already, for draft, to pull a pocket pick out or something when they need to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been the case in sort of games like this, right? So
yeah, fair enough. I actually think it'll be closer. Like, I think it's going to be 2-1, but I can't pick. Like, DCG are pretty consistent. Like, on face value, Vikings probably should win, but I think it's going to be a 2-1 either way. And I think that third game is going to be a coin flip of who throws less. Seriously. Like, because once you start getting into those, picks that aren't people as not as comfortable on because of how Fearless works, it's who's more comfortable or who kind of wins the draft or who doesn't make a mishap on a player that they're not as comfortable with or a champ they're not as comfortable with. So I think it could be either way. And I know I'm sitting on the fence here, but I think it goes 3 games.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, some series are just like that.
Yeah.
You just can't tell.
And after that, we've got CFO going up against Hawks. They've got a decently difficult weekend overall because they also play Deep Cross on Saturday. So already a team that struggled at the start, but definitely is finding its footing a little bit.
I think CFO should win. The reason I say this is because Evie has been a large catalyst of success for the most part of the split. Marble was against Ground Zero, but for the most part it was Evie. And Rest is just such a solid laner that Rest isn't going to get solo killed by Evie. It's just not going to happen, right? Like, Rest is not likely to solo kill Evie either, but he's not going to get solo killed by Evie. And Marble had some success against Shun, but Doggo is just him, the only thing I can see them having some success in is I think Vista is a much better support than 2274 is currently. However, I also think that Doggo is a much better AD carry than Marble is. So it kind of balances itself out in that regard where maybe there's access for Vista to create space on the map, right? Like being the support, having a little bit more freedom to go around and create plays. But in reality, I think like even if that happens, SHE might get themselves an early advantage, but Doggo's always going to be getting his gold. He's always going to get to a critical mass and he's always going to be able to carry the late game. So I think CFO should pretty clearly win it. And I think it's more of a stylistic thing than it is necessarily that they're just better.
On paper, you'd think it would be a 2-0 to CFO. On paper. It just depends.
I think that's pretty understandable, especially given the Team Secret Wales series that they played. Speaking of which, they've got Dead FM, probably going to be a 2-0. No shade to Dead FM, but and then they've got GAM. They've got GAM on Sunday to open things up. So that should be pretty exciting overall. Obviously, there was it Team Secret Wales that knocked out GAM last split, or was it?
Yeah, to Worlds. Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah, and then they beat Talon to get second or whatever.
Yeah,
I think they beat them for that last slot.
Wow,
yeah,
so
I
think that was the last time they fought
to get the second seed or whatever it was. Yeah,
that was the last time they fought. So that's going to be quite an exciting, definitely a bit of rivalry. Those probably the two teams that stayed the most intact over the off season. They're probably gonna.
I think just Team Secret Wales, right? Because
GAM
had quite a few changes.
It was only Drakthar and Elio, right? Or Drakthar and Taki,
but I think that's pretty big changes, right? Getting rid of Levy for Drakthar and Elio for Taki is two sizable changes.
Lost Taki, didn't they?
Yeah. We'll go on those new teams. I didn't even realize that.
I think that's like the narrative of that series for me is like the Taki versus his old team / his old team versus Taki, because again, Taki's gone to GAM, who got eliminated by Team Secret Wales, and Team Secret Wales, lost Taki. There's a rivalry there now. Essentially, it's a formed rivalry because of what happened in the support role. Obviously, Beer wasn't involved in that, but he's benefited from it. He's in the LCP, deserves to be as well. So
he's looking like
it's going to be exciting.
Overall,
that'll be a good game.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the games for this week. Of course, obviously GAM Ground Zero. Looking at the time now, I might have time to, if you guys 2-0 them, I might have time to catch it all, depending on how fast it goes. I've got about an hour.
No shade at anyone who plays D&D, but when you're picking D&D over watching the LCP,
I've had this prepped since before the season started. I'll say that.
So he looked at the schedule and figured out when Ground Zero were playing, and I'm going to do D&D right then.
If your D&D table wearing your GZ jersey or GZ shirt, all right, then I'll let you off on that one.
I think I still have it somewhere, but it's like 2 sizes too big because I've lost a lot of weight since 2021 or whatever it was.
Let's get some pegs around the back.
Yeah. I'll have to find it. It's up on the shelf somewhere with my like Chiefs jersey and all that.
Oof.
Just a stab in the heart to end it off.
I'm hoping we 2-0 them as well. So
Yeah, me too. I'm fucking sick of this like 40-minute, 3-game 40-minute shit. Like, just give me a 2-0, please.
Yeah.
So
I
this
don't
is what
want
the
to be
fans
worried the
love
whole
us.
time.
We're giving them their money's worth. You know, they're
Yeah.
paying
Yeah.
their, $10, $20 to go into the arena, and they're getting 5 hours of League of Legends because of us.
Generous. We love a generous org.
I think last year a lot of fans would leave before it ended because of the time, right? Like sometimes it would be finishing at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Which especially on the Thursday or
Sucked
Sunday
for
nights
you.
was like, well, I mean, it was fine for me. I didn't have work the next day, but a lot of them, like a Thursday at 10 p.m. they might have uni
Yeah.
the next morning, or same as the Sunday. So
I mean, Taiwan predominantly is more later starters. Like when you're over there, a lot of things don't open even on a weekday till like 11. And
wow.
I don't know if that's cultural because of the heat, but a lot of like the local shops and stuff like that won't open properly. Like food shops and stuff are open, but like your general malls and that won't open till about 11 on like the Monday to Friday. So
yeah, I do remember that.
they're more attuned to starting, work or starting that, later than say we are. So
Yeah, fair enough.
they're all gamers, obviously, so they work on those gaming hours. So.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll see Ben, like, it's close to midnight here, and I'll see him just playing solo queue. I'm like, wow, he's committed.
No, not anymore. I stopped playing solo queue now. I'll play a little bit of it, but it's more RuneScape now than anything.
Oh yeah, you've been on that grind recently, I will say.
Oh, I have, mate. I have.
So I messaged him when he was co-streaming, and I said, "What is that crap that he's playing on the co-stream?"
Dude, yeah,
It's like 5 pixels.
He's like, we're not. Why are you doing this during co-stream, bro? It's like a 7-minute break. Like, what do you want me to do? Just steer at the timer, bro?
And get Jhye in there and watch cricket highlights or something like that. Like,
yeah, true. I mean, I would have done that. But the problem is, like, man, imagine if I could just co-stream Jhye's cricket game. But I'm pretty sure my Twitch would get banned. So
yeah,
I just didn't do that.
Yeah. I think there's rights over that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, I'm ending my co-stream. I'm watching the finals.
Yeah.
It was good though. I mean, both series ended up good for different reasons, but I got through the competitive series of the day, which was kind of nice for the scheduling.
I think, like you said before, I think most games have been really good, so really close. So at least from you streaming them, that you can actually kind of get involved, and you don't know which way's really going which way.
Yeah, no, that has been really good, and again, I've been able to, like, because I have 100% of the talking time if I want to, I can really go in depth with things that educational parts of competitive League of Legends. There's definitely better solo queue players than me, but when it comes to competitive 5v5, I'm pretty smart just by the amount of content of it I've had to consume over the years. So
and then other times you just go vroom vroom as someone's moving.
Yeah, well, that's
forward.
what happens, bro.
Yeah.
I remember, who was it? I had someone on, and I asked them. Oh, maybe it was Kevin. I got him to do a play-by-play of one of the team fights, and it was just. I mean, he never takes anything seriously, so you can imagine the shit that he was saying in the middle of a team fight, man.
Luke.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
I've got a spoiler, actually. This weekend, I've got one of the Taiwanese casters to come on Saturday. Me and him are going to co-stream together, which is going to be... he said he can speak a little English, which I think is going to be half the fun, in my opinion. Make a competition.
Does Twitch have any plugins for subtitles or like your voice to text or anything like that? That would actually be really cool. Like,
I've paid for a subscription to something called Lingo Echo, and I've gone through the settings, and it looks like there's a way to make it so your voice, you can talk to it, and I don't know if it translates from that, and I don't know if it'll take desktop audio to also do it, because if it did that, then I could put in Mandarin traditional and
because that would be
make
cool.
it spit out
to
English.
get some insight of what the Taiwanese casters are actually talking about and get the translation would be kind of really cool.
Yeah, it definitely translates chat though. So like if I have someone that doesn't speak English or speaks Mandarin in my chat, then it pops out in English, which is cool. But I need to, I really do want to have something like that, because I love interacting with the Taiwan fans, and mostly I can only do it for a translator. So
you just need to learn some Mandarin, so you.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm
what I
on
want to do.
104-day streak. I'm learning. I'm prepping.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It takes a while. Like
it does.
I'm nearly up to a year, and I don't think I could string a sentence together. Like I can read words. I can read it way better than I can speak it. It's the tones get me.
Yeah. I was lucky. I learned like Mandarin for like 2 years in high school. So
Yeah.
I even though it's like 8 years ago, I still remember bits and pieces here, and that definitely helped. Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
remember the word for water looks like the Fnatic logo.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
just
Hell
if
yeah.
I see that, it's like fuck. That means water. We're on.
Yeah, 100%. I just need to work out the Mandarin word for beer. That's all I care about when I'm over
Yeah.
in Taiwan. It's bloody
Yeah.
hot and you need a beer, so
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
fucking hot over there.
Well, before we, I guess, close off for the day, if there's any other news, anything you wanted to speak about, I thought something that I just saw like an hour ago that was pretty interesting. The LCK finals for Split 1
Yeah.
are going to be held in Hong Kong.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I found quite odd.
That's cool.
That is cool. I mean, LCK gets that luxury because they have so many global fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it only makes sense for them to start utilizing that fact. And it's
They're
like sucks
obviously-
that it's coming to an LCP region.
Yeah.
but
I'll take our
like,
viewers.
I mean, yeah, they just have so many global fans. Like it'd
Mm.
be dumb not to monetize it in some way.
Yeah. I mean, that's more the traditional sport outlet, isn't it? You see
Yeah.
traditional sports play big games all around the world, don't you? So, I
Yep.
mean, you get why they're doing it.
Yeah, well, the NBA was in Europe the other week, and they were packing
NFL's
out.
coming to Melbourne
stadiums.
this year. Like,
Yeah, they did,
you
yeah.
you see why they're doing it. You know, we don't even have a league here, so that's kind of. I think that's kind of cool
Yeah.
as well. I actually hope it has like the positive effect where
Yeah.
some of the Hong Kong league fans, or you know, maybe they're not quite league fans, they go and attend and watch it, and it brings new fans to that, and then all of a sudden they go, oh, we've actually got our own region in the LCP, and then they can tune in and watch that. So
Yeah, no, I think I think it's good to see. I didn't expect it to be the grand finals. I thought because obviously in the past they did like stadium games for like T1 and all that in their area, but it's gonna be cool regardless. But yeah, I think if that is, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all the news this week. We went a little bit over time. I apologize, everyone. I apologize, Beau, but
Good
no, it
thing,
was
man.
good. Yeah, it was good overall though. So yeah, we'll.
thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
No,
Thanks
you're welcome.
thanks for joining
Thanks
in.
for joining, yeah.
It's
Always a pleasure to chat with you, mate.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
hope I gave you some insight. You know.
Yeah, no, it was,
Yeah,
it
of
was-
course.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Of course.
Got a lot
No,
to
it's
talk
been good.
about in the coming days. So yeah, everyone at home, Thursday is going to start next week. Oh, sorry, this week rather. It's going to start on Thursday. I think for the rest of the season or the split rather. Obviously, there's going to be that break for Lunar New Year, but 4-day weeks for the rest of the year. So be sure to check in for that. But thank you all for watching the latest episode. We'll be back next week to go over the chaos that will assumedly be the next 4 days. But take care, everyone, and have a good night.
Peace.